It's time. How many games will the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow win in 2023? What's going on, guys and Bengals fans? It's your boy Mail Jones back here with another NFL record prediction. And we'll be doing our NFL. Now it's time to predict the Cincinnati Bengals 2023 record for the NFL season. So I'll give you my game by game picks and my analysis, see which games I think the Bengals will win and see which games I think the Bengals will lose. So before I give you my record prediction for the Cincinnati Bengals in 2023, don't forget to put a thumbs up to like the video, subscribe to my channel for more options, and don't forget to comment down your opinion below to see who you think's going to how good you think the Bengals are going to be. Do you think they're going to be good? Do you think they're going to make the playoffs? Do you think they're going to win the division? Or do you think they're going to miss out on the playoffs? Let me know in the comment section below of what you think. So we're going to get started here. Week 1, now they have to go on the road to play against the Cleveland Browns. Now, I know that people are picking Cincinnati to at least sweep them, but I don't think it's going to happen though. But they're on the road playing against the Cleveland Browns. So I'm going to give Cincinnati their first loss this season because I just kind of feel like that Cleveland, plays the Bengals pretty hard. And on top of that, I just kind of feel like they kind of own the Bengals, though. Because I like how the way they match up well with the Bengals because the Browns because I believe they did improve their pass rush a little bit to slow down the Bengals' running game and to get pressure on Joe Burrow. And their secondary is pretty decent, though, which I think they can do a good job, defending the pass. Maybe they can contain Joe Burrow. I think this is a game where I think Deshaun Watson's going to have a field day. And I think Joe Burrow, he's going to, have some – I think Joe Burrow's going to be rattled in this game. So, yeah, that's pretty much why I think the Bengals are going to lose that game. Next game, week 2, they have to play at home versus Baltimore Ravens. I got them winning the first matchup. And the reason why I just have them win the first matchup is because, the Bengals are at home, and I just think they're just a more complete team. So, yeah. And I just kind of really feel like Cincinnati matches up well with the Ravens pretty good on paper. Because here's the thing. Now, think about it in the playoffs, though. Back in the playoffs during the wild card matchup, where, the Bengals beat them with Tyler Huntley, and that's where Tyler Huntley didn't play really good in that game, and that's where Cincinnati had that strict fumble for that touchdown. So remember that for a second. So, yeah, I think the Bengals win this game, and that leads to 1-1. Now, week 3, they have to play versus the Rams on Monday Night Football. I actually got Cincinnati, this Super Bowl rematch, but I got Cincinnati winning this game because I just kind of feel like the Rams are not going to be a good team this year. I feel like they're in a rebuilding mode. And, their offensive line isn't great. Defense, all these guys, Aaron Donald, nobody else. Secondary is bad. So I feel like Cincinnati can do enough offensively to move the ball against them. And I just kind of feel like their offensive line can do a good job blocking Aaron Donald because the Rams front seven is kind of lacking a little bit. It's putrid. So I kind of really feel like that, that the Rams secondary with no corners is going to be no match for the Bengals receiving trio of Higgins and Chase and Boyd. So I feel like Joe Burrow is going to do enough to move the ball through the air against the Rams secondary, which is not good. So, yeah. And also, I've said this many times ago, any team that the Rams play who has a good defensive line, they struggle against. So I think the Bengals defensive line can do a good job, getting pressure on Matthew Stafford. They can stop the run really good. And their secondary is solid. They can defend the pass really well. So I think Cincinnati, so I think it could be closer though, but I think Cincinnati wins this game. So they're 2-1 right now. Next game that's played against the Titans. Now this is another game that can go either way though. Now I understand that since that Tennessee might want that revenge because Tennessee, has beat them. Because Tennessee has beat them before. So Does that mean they can do it again? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe Cincinnati. I don't know. Because Tennessee, they kind of match up well with the Bengals pretty good on paper. But I think Tennessee is gonna play them tough in this game. I think they can give Joe Burrow a tough time. But it can go either way because Tennessee's not good at home against tough opponents. But I think this game right here is going to be a lot closer than we expected to. But I'm going to go with Cincinnati here in this game because I just don't really know who's going to be playing quarterback for Tennessee. Whether it's going to be Ryan Tannehill, Malik Willis, or Will Levis. Like, who knows? I mean, if it's a rookie playing against a good defense like the Bengals, no way. I mean, Big Lou, he kind of feels like he understands how to, confuse the Titans offense. Like, he can confuse, who's ever playing quarterback for the Titans. Like, he knows how to do that. And I think, Cincinnati has a good defensive line. They can do enough to stop the running game. They're going to have answers for the run game. And I feel like Titans receiving core is atrocious. So I feel like Cincinnati can defend the pass really good. And then, Cincinnati, I kind of feel like they will do enough on offensively to, I kind of feel like on the offensive line, I think they can do a good job, blocking their Titans front. So, yeah. So I think, and also I just think Cincinnati is just a more complete team and have a better quarterback. So, yeah, I think the Bengals win this game, but barely. So they're 3-1 right now. Then week 5, that's play against the Cardinals. I got them beating the Cardinals. I mean, Cardinals are going to be one of the worst teams in the league. And we don't know if Kyler Murray's going to be playing. So we don't know who's going to be the quarterback in this game. Right? It's going to be Kyler Murray or Colt McCoy. Even if Kyler plays this season, it doesn't matter. Cincinnati, they're just a more complete team. Better quarterback, better coaching staff. I mean, nothing much else. I mean, that leads to a Bengals win. So that's 4-1 right here. So next game, week 6, they got to play against Seahawks now. This is going to be an interesting game, though. Now, that's a game that can definitely go either way, though. But some people might pick Seattle to win because Seattle, matched up well with Cincinnati really good. But if this game's in Seattle, I might go with the Seahawks as a major upset. But I think it will be closer than we expected. But I'm going to go with the Bengals here at home. I just kind of feel like the Bengals are just a more complete team, have a better quarterback, better coach. And, they're at home. And I just kind of think the defense, for Seattle is a little bit, it's okay, but it's kind of young. So I think Cincinnati, they can probably do enough offensively, to move, have success, moving the football against Seattle defense. And I just kind of feel like, that Joe Burrow's going to do enough. I think their offensive line can, do a good job spreading the Seahawks defense out. And then I think with Cincinnati's defensive line, I think they can do a good job, stopping their running game, get some pressure on Geno. I think Big Lou's going to do a good job, confusing Geno. And I think the secondary can match up well with the Seahawks, receiving trio. So, yes, I think Cincinnati wins this game here. So they're 5-1 heading to the bye. Then after the bye week, they have to play against the San Francisco 49ers on the road. This is going to be a tricky game, though. It's going to be a fun game to watch. Now, this is a game that can definitely go either way because some people are kind of picking the Bengals to win because Cincinnati might be more stable at the quarterback position and have the quarterback advantage. But I don't really know if it matters, though, because San Francisco is still a good team. I mean, their coaching is pretty good. They're a well-coached team. I mean, if this game's in Cincinnati, I might go with the Bengals. But since it's in San Francisco, I'm going to go with the 49ers here. I just kind of feel like the 49ers match up well with the Bengals pretty good. And I just kind of feel like with their offensive line and their offense, because the Niners have a really good offensive and defensive line. And I think on the offensive line, I think they can do a good job, blocking your front. And I think they can do a good job, on the defensive line, getting pressure on Joe Burrow, giving Joe Burrow a tough time. So, yeah. And then they got a good secondary as well that can really match up with the Bengals receiving trio. So, yeah. So I think this game's going to be close, but I think the Niners find a way to win this game here. So now they're 5-2 right now. Now week 9, they have to play Sunday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills. Now this game right here from last year, they played twice, but the first game, when they played in the regular season, they wasn't able to resume the game due to the DeMar Hamlin, had a cardiac arrest. But I kind of feel like this could definitely be another emotional game. But I kind of remember, like, back in the playoffs, the game was in Buffalo, and Cincinnati, blew them out, though. That's where Josh Allen did not look good in this game. But I think this game right here is going to be closer than we expected. But if this game is in Buffalo, I might go with the Bills. But given that the game is going to be in Cincinnati and it's on Sunday night, I'm going to take the Bengals here. Because I just kind of really have a feeling that, that the Bengals, they just kind of have that fight in them. And I just think they're just a more complete team. And on top of that, I just feel like Big Blue kind of understands how to confuse Josh Allen because he did that last time. And, I just kind of really feel like that, that they match up well with the Bills pretty good because they have a good defensive line, because the Bengals have a good defense. And I feel like their defense can definitely give, the Bills offense some trouble. And then their secondary can match up well with the Bills receiving trio. And I think they can do enough to, like, block their front as well. So, yeah. So I think that, Joe Burrow, he's gonna do enough to make some big plays against that Bills defense, which I think the Bills might take a little bit of a step back this year because they might regress. So I think Cincinnati can do enough defensively they can do enough offensively to move the ball against their defense. But I think it will be closer than last time, and it will be competitive. But I think this game is going to be a shootout this time, but I think the Bengals find a way to win that game. So after being 5-2, they're 6-2 right now. So next game, they have to play at home versus the Houston Texans. I got the Bengals, winning that game here. So that leads to 7-2. Texans, they're not a good team. I wouldn't trust a rookie quarterback on the road, especially against a good defense like the Bengals. And I kind of feel like Big Lou can confuse the rookie and all that. So, yeah. I mean, Texans defense is pretty young. I mean, they did improve this year, but I kind of feel like the Texans are just way too young. So I think the Bengals can do a good job on both sides of the ball, confusing them. And also, they just got the better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're at home. They're just a more complete team. So, yeah, that leads to a Bengals win. Okay, so next game. Next game, they have to play versus the Baltimore Ravens. Obviously, they're going to split with the Ravens, so they're probably going to lose the second game against them because I just kind of really feel like that, that they're going to lose the second game against them because, I just don't see you guys sweeping the Ravens twice. Like, I don't see them sweeping Baltimore because Baltimore, I just kind of feel like Baltimore, has played the Bengals tough. So, yeah, I just kind of feel like they just played the Bengals tough. Because, I just kind of really feel like that, that Ravens, they're kind of that team where they like to, like, confuse people. So I think Baltimore, finds a way to win, And I feel like, Thursday night game is kind of hard to win on the road, especially is in home in Baltimore. So I think the Ravens, find a way to pull that out. All right. The next game, they have to play versus, so that's 6-2, 7-2. So I think that's 7-3, I believe. That leads to 7-3. So okay, so yeah. So next game, week 12, they have to play against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, I got them beating the Steelers the first time. I just kind of feel like Cincinnati, is just a more complete team, have a better quarterback, and all that. And I just kind of feel like that, Cincinnati match up well with the Steelers pretty good. So I got them winning the first game here. So that leads to 8-3. So next game, they have to play against the Jacksonville Jaguars on Monday Night Football. Now, this is another game that can go either way, though. Now, some people are kind of really picking Jacksonville to win because, Jacksonville's at home in this game, and Jacksonville could definitely surprise this year because they were a good team. I feel like Jacksonville's still going to be a good team this year. I mean, I just kind of really feel like that, Jacksonville can definitely give Cincinnati a tough time because I feel like, with the weapons they have, they can definitely get the Bengals a tough time. And on top of that, I understand that this game's in Jacksonville though, but I don't really think it matters though because Jacksonville is really not good at home against tough teams. So by the way, I'm gonna go with the Bengals here to win this game. I could definitely change my mind on that, but I'm gonna go with the Bengals here. I just think they're just a more complete team, have a better quarterback, better coaching staff. And I just kind of feel like Jacksonville doesn't match up well with the Bengals pretty good. I feel like Big Lou is going to find a way to confuse Trevor Lawrence. And on top of that, Jaguars, has Jaguars, they just have like I just kind of feel like their secondary is a little bit too young for me to believe it because I don't really believe in the Jaguars secondary enough to like. I don't really know if they can match up well with Cincinnati. I just kind of felt that Joe Burrow is going to do enough to move the ball in the air against the Jaguars secondary, and I felt their offensive line can spread them out as well on defense. And I think the pass rush is going to find a way to get after Trevor Lawrence and give Trevor Lawrence a tough time. And I feel like that they can really find a way to at least slow down the running game. And I feel like their secondary can like handle business. Like they'll find their ways to like match up with the Jags receivers. So yeah, I think this game will be close, but I got Cincinnati winning that game. So I think that leads to 9-3, I believe. All right, the next game they have to play at home versus the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, I got them beating the Colts here. I mean, the Colts, they're not a good team. I mean, the Colts aren't a good team. I mean, Anthony Richardson, he's way too raw. I don't think he's gonna. I don't think the Colts are that good. And on top of that, the Colts, they just got Anthony Richardson. He's raw, and also, I don't trust a rookie quarterback on the road. This is a rookie quarterback on the road facing against a good defense like Cincinnati. So I don't really think I wouldn't pick that to happen. I mean, Cincinnati should easily win this game. They have the better quarterback, better coaching staff, and also and they're just a more complete team. So yeah, and they're at home. And on top of that, Indianapolis is going to deal with some learning curves because they have a new coach, head coach, and a new culture, a new quarterback. So it's going to take some time and all that. So yeah. So I think Cincinnati is going to do well both sides of the balls, like confusing the Colts and also confusing the rookie and all that. So yeah, so I think the Bengals should easily win that game. So that leads to 10-3. The next game, Week 15, they have to play the Minnesota Vikings on a Saturday. Obviously, some people are kind of they can go either way, but if this game's in Minnesota, I might roll the Vikings here. But Minnesota could definitely want that revenge from 2 years ago where they blew that game, where Cincinnati won by 3. But you know what? Since Cincinnati's at home, I'm going to take the Bengals here because I just think the Bengals are just a more experienced team. They have a better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're at home. And I just feel like Big Lou's going to have a good game plan against his Vikings offense. Like, he's going to find a way to confuse Kirk Cousins. And plus, I don't think Minnesota's offensive line is that great. So I think the Bengals can do enough on the defensive line to, like, stop the running game. Like, they may not have a running game because Dalvin Cook is gone. And then, they can find a way to, like, disrupt, their offensive line and Kirk Cousins and give Kirk Cousins a tough time. And on top of that, Cincinnati can do enough in the secondaries, to like find their matchups against the receivers. And then they should do enough on the offensive line to control the Vikings defensive line, where I think that's going to give the Vikings defense in a tough position. And also, they can do enough, to move the ball against Minnesota because I feel like Minnesota's defense is a little bit overrated. So Joe Burrow should do enough here to, like, move the ball out in the air against that Vikings secondary, which is not great and is kind of old. So I just kind of feel like that they're not going to have an answer for Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and company. So, yeah, I think it's going to be close like last time, but I think the Bengals win. So I think that leads to 10-3. I think it's 11-3. I think that was 10-3, 11-3. Okay, 11-3. So they're on a 4-game winning streak right now. So that's pretty good. And then next game, Week 16, they have to play the Steelers, which they have to play on Saturday again. This is on a short week. It's kind of a short week, but I actually got them splitting. I actually got the Steelers. I got the Bengals splitting with the Steelers, so I got them losing that game because I just kind of really feel like Pittsburgh, has kind of owned Cincinnati, and they just play Cincinnati tough, though. Because I remember last year, they played them tough. They played them tough last year because, Cincinnati, they gave the Steelers have a good pass rush, and they can really find a way to at least, like, disrupt the run game. Like, they can get out the Burrow and all that. So, yeah, I think the Steelers win that game at home. And then next game, they have to play on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I call this my trap game, though, because it can go either way, though. But I don't know because some people might pick Cincinnati win. Some people might pick the Chiefs win because they're at home. I don't know about that. I'm probably going to think about it for a second. I'll probably think about it for a second before I decide. So, yeah. But some people might pick Cincinnati to win because Cincinnati can match up well with Chiefs, but I don't know. But that's on New Year's Eve, though. But that's going to be a big game, but I don't know what to choose for them. So I'm going to go ahead and think about it for a second. All right, then last game, Week 18, they have to play against the Cleveland Browns. They'll split with the Browns, so they'll win that game here because they're just a more complete team. They have a better quarterback. They're at home. And I just think they have a better coaching staff. So, yeah. In my opinion, I think Joe Burrow's a better quarterback than Sean Watson. So, yeah, that's pretty much why I think the Bengals win. So, overall, they're 12-4 right now. So, I think they could. Now, this game can definitely be playing for the 1 seed. So, by the way, this can definitely change my mind here. But I just kind of feel like just for the memes and the giggles and all that, I'm going with just for the memes and the giggles, Now, I think it's going to be close, though. But if this game's in Cincinnati, I might roll with Cincinnati. But just for the memes and giggles, I mean, it's tough to say they're going to lose 2 in a row, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I think they're going to lose this game to Kansas City because I just kind of feel like that Arrowhead Stadium is a tough place to play at. And I just kind of really feel like that, that Patrick Mahomes, can do enough here to, in the Chiefs offense, and Patrick Mahomes, I think they can do enough against their to move the ball against the defense. And I just kind of feel like that the Chiefs, Spagnuolo, in the playoffs, he did a good job confusing Joe Burrow. I think he can do it again. And I think Andy Reid's going to have a good game plan against Big Lou's defense. So, yeah, I think they're going to control time, possession, and all that. So, I think the only way they can do that, I think they can control time, possession, keep Joe Burrow on the sidelines. So, I think that kind of allows the Chiefs to win this game. But I think it will be a high-scoring game, and it will be a shootout, though. It's going to be closer than expected, but I think the Chiefs win this game. So, ultimately, I got the Cincinnati Bengals going 12-5. I can see them going like 13-4 or maybe 14-3, something like that. Maybe 15-2. I don't really know. But as you look at the schedule, it's pretty easy though because they got to play the Browns twice. They play the Ravens twice. They play the Steelers twice. They play the whole NFC West teams. They play the Cardinals, Rams, Seahawks, and Niners. They play the AFC South team. They play the Jaguars, the Texans, the Titans, and the Colts. And then, they play the Vikings and the Chiefs and the Bills. So this is a pretty easy schedule. So I think the Bengals are going to be a good team. I mean, 9-0 at home, 3-5 away, not bad. 3-3 in the division, not bad. Because I know there was like that last year. So I think they can definitely rank 2 or maybe rank number 1 in the conference. So I think Cincinnati could definitely be looking to get that number 1 or 2 seed. So, yeah, I think they have a chance to do that. I feel like Cincinnati is that team, that just has that fight in them. They have that momentum in them. So I think the Bengals, should be good this year. They shouldn't be bad at all. So, yeah, I think the Bengals, they should be back in the playoffs again. And I hope they get their Super Bowl hopes alive as well. So I think, they can go somewhere from 11 to 13 wins this year. I got them at 12 for right now, but I'm going to say, their floor can be about maybe 9 to 10 wins this year if the defense takes a little step back and if the offensive line is not playing well and Joe Burrow's injured, it's hurt or something like that. So yeah, but they have a high ceiling though, pretty high ceiling, maybe 14-3, 15-2. So yeah. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think I'm right or wrong? So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Or what you think about the Bengals. So yeah. Well, this is Emmanuel Jones from Big Fan. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys later. Peace.